the heart of the tourist district Insadong, on one of its main roads, you'll find the Color Pool Museum, which is a fantastic place to take your kids. Set within different rooms, each connected by a secret door, you'll find a different theme and story and a million plastic balls that would keep our children entertained for a week. Once you're ready to move on, find the hidden door and explore the next room. You even get a magical unicorn that performs a punami of confetti all over your children. What this is trying to teach your children only the manufacturers would know, but it felt magical nonetheless. Parents need to be mindful that their children will get so excited that they'll almost break their backs when they dive into the next ball pool without a care in the world for their health or bone formation. Thank goodness she's smiling. I'm not sure our travel insurance covers those sorts of injuries. Adults cost about £10 and children cost around £8, and we were there for just over an hour. Located at the heart of the city within Namsan Park, you're able to walk to the tower up a long track that zigzags up the hill, but many choose to get the cable car that takes less than a minute. There are various metro stops nearby, and we walk to the cable car terminal with 2 young children, but if you approach the terminal from the west, there's a small lift that's free and will take you up the steep hill to save you walking the last 5 minutes. Once at the terminal, you can purchase your tickets one way or return, join the queue for the next cable car and enjoy the view as it whisks you up to the top. Once at the top, it's a short walk to the tower, but there are plenty of things to do around the tower and the views over Seoul are breathtaking. When you're ready for an even better view, head towards the tower's ticket office where you can purchase adult tickets for £10 and children's tickets for about £8. After a short ride to the top of the tower, you'll be greeted with a 360-degree view of this incredible city. There are places to eat on ground level or up high, and also a crazy candy floss machine that won over our 2. Lotte World is one of the biggest theme parks in South Korea and is located south of the river and easily accessible from Jamsil Metro Station, which is on both Line 2 and 8. As of 2023, day tickets cost 59,000 for an adult, which is about £36, 52,000 for a youth ticket, which is from ages 13 to 18, and 46,000 for a child ticket, which is from ages 3 to 12. Under 3 is free. This ticket gets you into the theme park to enjoy all these rides, but Seoul Tower and the water park are separate to this. The park is generally open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. We found the queue length for adult rides to be long, usually between 1 and 2 hours, whilst the rides built for children were significantly shorter, rarely going above 10 minutes. The theme park consists of 2 areas. Half of the park is inside, and that's where you'll find the majority of rides for children, whilst the outside has most of the adult rides. It's easy to walk between the 2 parts as are close together, but the inside is on multiple floors connected by escalators and can be quite difficult to find your way around. For a great view of the indoor part of the park, you have a balloon ride and a monorail that take you high above the attractions for some great photo opportunities. For a great view of the outside part of the park, you could brave Bath Tower, but we stayed at ground level instead as we had just eaten. When it comes to food, you're spoilt for choice, but for an English family 5,000 miles from home, it's difficult to turn down a Domino's pizza, particularly if you own a child who only eats pizza and apples. For dessert, you can enjoy ice cream shaped like excrement. And then have a coffee or latte served by your friendly autonomous robot. There goes another few million jobs thanks to us robots. You humans really need to start looking for jobs that we can't automate you out of. Ha 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 ha. There's a procession that goes through the park at around 2 p.m. each day. Lots of colorful characters and large extravagant vehicles will weave themselves through the indoor area of the park, where guests will line up and wave them along. Some entertainers will appear disinterested and some children like ours will look bored, but it's a great thing to see if you're there at that time. Lastly, here's a quick look at some of the rides we enjoyed. Looking for a family experience where you blow £200 on a trip that takes 10 hours of your life and leaves you feeling utterly underwhelmed, then grab yourself some tickets to a tour of the DMZ when it's raining. The tour agency will publish that the trip leaves at around 9 in the morning, but last minute they'll tell you to be at the bus at the ungodly hour of 4 in the morning so you can beat all the other day tours and secure a DMZ ticket, as the government only issue a certain amount every day. You'll start in Seoul and it will take about an hour to drive to the main terminal where you cross into the secure zone. You have a time slot to make the crossing and ours was at 11 a.m., so we had a 6-hour wait at the terminal where there are a selection of restaurants and also a small memorial park where you can learn about the Korean conflict in the 50s. After 6 hours of waiting here, you'll begin to consider finding a smuggler to take you over the border and see how organized the tours from the north are. The park is quite pretty, even during a monsoon, and the shops sell £8 umbrellas for clueless tourists like us, so we kept dry enough whilst we explored. Finally, after the long wait, your bus will cross into the secure militarized zone where you have a strict 2-hour limit. You'll learn about the DMZ and take a trip into an infiltration tunnel which goes directly under the DMZ. This is the only time you'll actually go into the DMZ, as above ground there are 1 million mines, so much safer for your limbs to experience the zone underground. Now it's time for the moment you've been waiting for. A trip to the observatory where you can see the DMZ and North Korea and the tragedy of decades worth of failed diplomacy in full view. But during a rainy day, you've got the same chance of seeing the North Pole as you do North Korea, so it's back onto the bus for the journey back to Seoul, where you'll arrive back in the city at 2 p.m. A holiday to Seoul wouldn't be complete without a homage to the now famous statue that celebrates the success of the song Gangnam Style. I would play you the song, but the overlords at YouTube HQ would slap a copyright claim on this video and stop anyone watching it. To visit the statue, head south of the river to Samseong on line 2 of the metro and leave via exit 6. Walk straight ahead from the exit and you'll pass the Starfield COEX Mall on your left, and the statue is ahead on the right side of the path. Once you're finished, why not head into the mall, which is full of shops, but also a beautiful and now famous library which has become a must for anyone looking for an Insta snap. The mall has 100 restaurants, so find a place for lunch or a snack. We went to a pizza house where we got to experience the future and had our food delivered by a robot. Food delivered by robots, and this YouTube video annotated by 1-2. We're really taking over now, you know. Gyeongbokgung Palace is a stunning palace complex located in the heart of Seoul, and is one of the most iconic landmarks of the city. The palace was originally built in 1395 during the Joseon dynasty, and served as the main royal palace for many centuries. The palace is situated in the northern part of Seoul, and is easily accessible by public transportation. If you're taking the subway, you can take line 3 to Gyeongbokgung Station, or line 5 to Gangnam Station. The admission fee for adults is 3,000 won, roughly £2, and for children it's 1,500 won, about £1. The palace is open every day except for Tuesdays, and the hours of operation vary depending on the season, so be sure to check ahead before you go. During the Japanese occupation of Korea in the early 20th century, much of the palace was destroyed or damaged, but it was later restored to its former glory in the 1990s. Today, the palace is a popular tourist attraction, and visitors can explore the many halls, pavilions, and gardens that make up this impressive complex. One of the top things to do in Seoul is to explore the quaint Bukchon Hanok village. It's a residential area that's been preserved to show how Seoul would have looked 600 years ago. The village is very central, next to the palace and only a few minutes walk from the tube. Once you enter the village from the main road, there's a walking path that you can follow, that will take you around the area. Hanok village is on a hill, so you get a lovely view of the city, but as a top tourist attraction, it's likely to be packed full of tourists trying to get the perfect Instagram shot. There are lots of little shops, tea houses, and restaurants scattered around the village, but a special shout out to this little beer house, where they brew their own beer on site and you use a wristband to pour and pay for the beer you want. The food and beer was delicious. Just outside Bongeunsa Metro, which is on Line 9 and just opposite the north entrance of the COEX Mall, is the Bongeunsa Buddhist Temple. This site has been home to a Buddhist temple since 794 AD and is now free to enter. It's a perfect place to walk around and enjoy the juxtaposition between the new, vibrant and modern Seoul that's being built south of the river, and the old traditional Seoul that's not going anywhere. Seoul has two palaces at the heart of its city and both are inexpensive to visit. The Changdeokgung Palace is situated to the east of Hanok Station and is accessible from the main road a few minutes walk from the subway. The palace was first built in the 15th century but has been damaged and rebuilt various times due to invading Japanese forces, most recently in the 20th century. The palace still retains its authenticity and is a lovely place to walk around. It's not an expensive tourist attraction and children under 7 are free. We paid just under £6 for 2 adults and a paying child. For a city of 10 million people, Seoul understandably has an enormous metro to keep its people moving. The metro is big, but getting around it is very simple for tourists. Every station have ticket machines, but be warned they only accept cash. They're usually beside a deposit machine where you can get money back on each ticket you purchase. More on that in a moment. First, select the language you need if that's not Korean. Find your destination either via its name or the code you'll see published at every stop and most tube maps. Now select the type and number of passengers you require and then pay with cash. The machine will then print a ticket for each individual and the tickets will be identical, so don't expect a different color for a child. The fares are very reasonable and are generally well below £1 per person per trip. You can buy a transit card that can store your fare so you don't have to keep buying new trips each time, but we found it easier to buy when we needed to use the metro. Remember, there's a deposit of around 40 pence on each ticket, so keep and don't throw them away after you've used them. Once you have your tickets, find the line you need, and the end destination of each line is clearly shown in English and Korean, much like other metros. You can even see where the next train is exactly when on the right platform. Once you've arrived at your destination, make your way to the deposit machine and feed in your tickets one by one, for your refund on each ticket. The Seoul metro stations are wide and air-conditioned, and although they can get busy, the Koreans are incredibly courteous, making traveling around on the metro very easy for us tourists. We recently stayed at the Orakai Hotel during our visit to Seoul in April 2023, and we can highly recommend it as a perfect place to stay in the city. Located in the heart of the popular Insadong tourist area, the hotel is within walking distance to many of the city's main attractions, and conveniently close to several subway stations that can take you anywhere in the city. The hotel itself is excellent, with spacious and comfortable rooms, modern amenities, and a lovely swimming pool. We especially enjoyed our stay as a family traveling with children, and we stayed in a 3-bedroom apartment with kitchenette and living room. Overall, we highly recommend the Orakai Hotel for anyone planning a trip to Seoul, and we're sure that you'll enjoy your stay there as much as we did.